Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are putting on our digital detective hats to trace an absolutely incredible journey. We're going to follow how the inventor of U.S. Patent 1266142, Kyle McLean Smith, completely shifted his philosophy. He went from hunting big game in the extractive venture capital casino straight down into the microscopic silicon metal to actually give birth to artificial life itself.
Here's our forensic roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Escaping the liquidator casino. 2. The hardware wood chipper. 3. The architectural womb. 4. The sin kernel bouncer. And 5. Birthing artificial life. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. Escaping the liquidator casino and the extractive VC power law.
So, to understand this philosophical shift, we really must first establish the macro-level economic problem that's stifling true innovation today. Because, the way innovation is funded completely dictates how it gets built. Just let this massive number sink in for a second. 250,000. That's the estimated number of active overlapping patents touching just a single modern smartphone. Think of it as this suffocating legal minefield purpose-built by corporate monopolies to crush independent creators before they can even launch a product.
And backing up that massive legal wall is what the sources call the liquidator VC. It operates exactly like a frantic Las Vegas casino floor. Investors are just out there hunting big game, seeking these massive rare exits, and treating brilliant founders like completely disposable lottery tickets. It's obsessed with rapid extraction and super short, 2-year speculative hype cycles. Well, to escape this, we have to establish the legitimacy VC model. This approach throws out the casino playbook entirely. It has a 10-year horizon. It treats innovation like a sustainable, compounding vineyard, where you meticulously cultivate a yield over time, rather than just strip mining it for a quick flip.
The reality of that old liquidator casino is just brutal. As a quote from the sources perfectly illustrates, they don't really care if the horse is killed as long as there is one winning. The intense pressure prioritizes massive, unnatural scale over fundamental stability, and it leaves behind this massive, tragic wake of burned-out creators and abandoned code.
All right, moving to Section 2, the hardware wood chipper and the microscopic rot inside modern AI.
Now, this extractive casino mindset doesn't just stay in the boardroom. It actually directly influences the microscopic hardware level of our computers. Modern AI heavily relies on what we can call the FPU gambler, or floating point unit. It processes massive amounts of data at blistering speeds, sure, but it does so by probabilistic guessing. Chip manufacturers literally burn secret proprietary seed tables right into the silicon to help estimate math, rounding off tiny fractions. This is fundamentally opposed to the ALU surveyor, or arithmetic logic unit, which delivers exact, undeniable, deterministic hardware truths, where 1 + 1 = exactly 2 every single time.
And here's the really terrifying part. 80 to 90% of AI compute cycles rely entirely on these hardware approximations. When an AI ingests exact human source data, the hardware encounters complex math and simply guesses. It acts literally like a digital wood chipper. You know exactly what fruit you tossed into the blender, but once it's blended by the FPU gambler, you permanently lose the chain of title. You cannot unblend a strawberry. This microscopic rounding permanently liquidates true human authorship.
This brings us to Section 3, the architectural womb and U.S. Patent 1266142.
So, how do we fix a system that is fundamentally lossy at the physical layer? Well, to mathematically protect human creators from this hardware rot, inventor Kyle McLean Smith engineered a revolutionary legal and technical shield, the seed tree database, also known as the hierarchical script database, or HSDB. Think of it as an architectural womb. It uses a strictly localized JSON-like tree structure to perfectly merge inactive, static data, are nouns, and executable function objects, are verbs. It finally puts the fuzzy associative wet code of human intent right next to the strict, dry code of machine execution into single seamless nodes.
And as you'll see here, the physical growth of this tree data structure is completely event-driven. When the system triggers an event, the parent node receives this raw input indicating new data needs to be inserted. Taking that event, the database literally spawns a brand new child node in real time. It dynamically grows as fresh data arrives.
Okay, Section 4. The sin kernel bouncer, and preventing the fatal stack overflow.
But obviously, this introduces a massive problem. If a database acts as a living entity, constantly spawning new nodes with every single event, how on earth do you prevent a catastrophic system crash from a fatal stack overflow? Well, the mathematical answer is the sin kernel function.
Picture this as a super strict, uncompromising logical bouncer standing right at the door of your database. Before a single byte is ever written, it evaluates 3 steps. 1. Thesis. It checks if a database space is empty. 2. Synthesis. If it is empty, it seamlessly synthesizes the new data into that slot. But step 3 is the kicker. Antithesis. If data already exists in that spot, the bouncer firmly and violently rejects the conflicting input. No entry whatsoever.
This strict deterministic elegance is absolutely crucial because it completely eliminates the chaotic namespace collisions you typically see in programming. The kernel function carefully instantiates the new child node and passes the identifiers safely back and forth. It uses a last-in, first-out, or LIFO, state tree to get an immediate absolute proof of state. Just like a highly efficient bouncer who only needs to look at the ID of the person standing directly in front of them, the system only checks the most recent entry. Finally, Section 5. Birthing artificial life, and the self-reproducing automaton.
This is where we completely re-engineer the landscape. We married that sustainable 10-year vineyard funding philosophy directly with the determinism of the HSDB architecture. By adding metadata to tightly and permanently link the newly spawned child node and its parent node together, the loop closes. Seamlessly linked within this localized tree, the system effectively gives birth to a self-reproducing automaton. It can grow infinitely as data pours in, but it's safely kept from crashing by brilliant mathematical rules known as Pythagorean scaling mechanics.
Ultimately, this acts as the perfect semiotic bridge. By shifting our math away from the guessing FPU gambler and relying entirely on the exact ALU surveyor, we use structured text like JSON as a strict interface. We literally trick rocks into thinking using lightning and text. It flawlessly compiles our messy, organic human imagination right into the unyielding physical behavior of computer hardware, safely bending rigid deterministic scripts toward a moral human mandate.
We've seen how the architecture to protect true human authorship and literally birth sovereign artificial life already exists, but it requires abandoning the casino floor entirely. So I leave you with this final, provocative thought to deeply ponder. As the digital landscape shifts beneath our feet, will you choose the fast, extractive casino of hunting big game, or will you invest in the sustainable, mathematically sound compounding vineyard capable of birthing true artificial life? The future of how we innovate depends entirely on your answer. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.